Hey Zainers, welcome back to another episode of Saints TV Weekly. Thanks to Inglewood Coffee Roasters for being the major sponsor, as you know very well. So if you want 40% off coffee, tea and chai products, which I think would go very, very well right now because it's freezing on a Monday morning, go on over to inglewoodcoffeeroasters.com.au and use the discount code SAINTS40 and you'll get 40% off all of those products. So check that out when you can. Now straight off the top, I just want to send out a bit of a message to the Rendell family. As we know, devastating news last week. He was an assistant coach for St Kilda under Grant Thomas from I think 2004 to 2006, and also a champion Fitzroy player. Was walking his dog, cardiac arrest, and he's passed away since. So devastating news for his family and friends, for the AFL world, just a shock. He was such a, I really respected his work. He was very good on the trade radio and everything. So sending our love and support to the Rendell family in this really difficult time. Okay, so to the football yesterday. We don't need to go into too much because I did a very, very long review chatting to the fans yesterday, 25-minute review. So if you want to watch that, check that out. But we got the chocolates. 8 points was the margin after we did trail at 1 point by 31 points to the West Coast Eagles. They were very good. They brought the heat. Their pressure gauge was through the roof, which was to be expected, to be honest, after last week. And the amount of pressure that was put on them during the week, they needed to respond, and they did. And they were pretty much the better side for a lot of the day. It took until, the third quarter for us to kick 7 goals to 3, and that was essentially the game right there. The last quarter, we could have ran away with it. We kicked 1 goal 6, so I think the margin could have been a bit more. I said, during the week, I don't care what the margin is. I don't care. I just want to get 4 points and I want to kick 100 points. I don't care about winning by 100 points. I just want us to start learning to kick goals again because we make it look so difficult. And that's the disappointing part is we kicked 85 points, I think, for the game, 12-13. I would have loved to kicked over 100 points just to get into a bit of a goal-scoring rhythm, because I think if we're going to make a charge to September, we need to start kicking bigger scores than what we're kicking. And again, we made it look a bit more difficult than we needed to. And luckily for us, we had Machito Owens, who bobbed up with 4 and was a standout player for the game. So that puts us in 5th, only percentage outside the top 4, can you believe? Which means that Saturday night's match against the Dees is 4th v 5th, probably the biggest Saints-Dees match in a long time. And if we win that, we're in the top 4. We're a game in the top 4, which is ridiculous. So crazy to think we're in that position, but who knows? We'll see Saturday night what this West Coast game, I guess, taught us. And, it might be more significant than we think in this current state of mind. We'll just give it a few more days. And if we get the win over the D's, this game is, one of those games you look back on and think, wow, I'm glad we got the 4 points. Off the back of it as well, there is some injury news. So Brad Hill and Seb Ross are going to be assessed for respective knee injuries. Brad Hill's one was a bit ugly and caught in the tackle and twisted his leg. But from reports, Ross Lyon was pretty confident that Brad Hill would be okay. Seb Ross, I'm not sure, but fingers crossed the boys are good. But in other good news, Jack Hayes could be back on the footy field as soon as this week, pending a medical clearance, as the club has announced this morning. They believe that if he gets through training this week, he should play. So I'm assuming that means Sandringham. You're not going to bring him straight into the AFL. So that's awesome news. Angus McLennan and Hunter Clark are also closing in on returns off the back of, really strong rehab periods. And they should be able to make themselves available this week as well. On top of that, we've got Jack Bytel and Dan McKenzie, who unfortunately will be assessed for new injuries off the back of their performances at Sandy. And Zak Jones, he's one that had a really good standing, and we'll talk about that when we talk about the actual game, but he was really strong as well. And then Nick Caulfield, 2 to 3 weeks, Tim Membry, 4 to 5 weeks, and Matthew Allison, 2 to 3 weeks as well. So the injury list is, there's a few new faces on there. Josh Battle, TBC with concussion, as well, obviously, because he went off very early in the game. So we'll have to wait and see how all those boys pull up. But good news on the injury front for a lot of other players as well. Now to Sandy. So score-wise, round 15, they played Werribee at Avalon Airport Oval, a ground that I know very well from my old hood in Werribee. But we went down by 76 points, so a fairly massive loss there. But it's not really to me about the scores. I'm looking at these players here that can return, and Zak Jones was the standout player in this game. 35 disposals, 1 goal, 1, 5 marks, 7 tackles, and 10 clearances, which I think was by far and away the most. The next best was Bytel with 5. I think our midfield's missing that big time. I think we need a player like Zak Jones back in the lineup ASAP. And I think against the Dees, who have got a very, very good midfield, inside and outside, we're going to need someone like him. So I think it's perfect timing to bring Zak Jones back into the lineup. And he's in good form, so that adds to it as well. Max Heath was huge, 12 disposals, 1 goal, 44 hitouts. He's building nicely, Max Heath. I reckon he's closer to a debut than we think. 31 disposals for Ben Patton, who was very strong. Tom Highmore, 22 disposals and 6 tackles. Tyson Milne, again, continuing good form, 21 disposals. Zane Cordy, 17. Ollie Houghton, the 10, but kicked a goal. And then I think all the way down there, 1 goal, 2 for Billings, 15 disposals. And Bytel, only the 12 disposals. Dan McKenzie, the 12 as well. So Zak Jones, to me, would be a big surprise if he didn't play this weekend against the Dees. In terms of AFLW news, we want to welcome Maddie Boyd, who's joined as an injury replacement player for the upcoming AFLW season. She's officially in the red, white and black, coming to St Kilda with 22 senior games to her name, following her time between Melbourne, GWS and Geelong. The adaptable tall forward comes into the squad in place of Jade Van Dyke. So Jade Van Dyke, this week, that was the other bit of news, has been moved to the inactive list earlier this week. So we might get a bit more on that tonight. We've got Sarah on the podcast, who runs the AFLW show, and Marshy, so they'll elaborate more on this. But good to welcome Maddie Boyd. Disappointing about Jade Van Dyke, but good to have Maddie Boyd on board as well. Now, lastly, we've got some big news in terms of the AFL Hall of Fame. First of all, Nick Riewoldt, who wasn't in attendance, but is going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame next season. So that's awesome news for Nick. Obviously, we know the number 12 is a champion player. And as a result, we are giving away a signed Nick Riewoldt portrait for subscribers. So if you haven't subscribed, please do. And you might win a signed Nick Riewoldt portrait. Good little segue there. And then on top of that, one of our assistant coaches, Corey Enright, has also been inducted into the Australian Football Hall of Fame. So congratulations to Corey, champion player for the Cats, as we know, and now he's a very, very strong part of our coaching team at St Kilda. On top of that, we've got Robert Harvey and Lenny Hayes. So our entire coaching panel is basically Hall of Fame material, which is nuts. I don't think any other club has that, so that's pretty impressive. But congrats to Corey Enright on that awesome achievement, very well deserved. Round 17 against the Dees, Saturday night, 7:25, I think, at Marvel. 4th v 5th, big game, big opportunity. If we win, we go top 4. If we don't, we could well find ourselves out of the 8. So that's how tight it is from about 5th to 10th. We need to notch, some of these wins if we're serious about making it. And although our form has been scratchy, it wouldn't surprise me if this is one of those games where we just turn it on. We always seem to match the opponent's level. And Melbourne, they're coming off a loss as well. They've lost 4 of their last 6. They're not in the best form. They're coming off a very, very tough slog against GWS in very interesting conditions. Very trying conditions, I'll say. And they lost by a couple of points, so they're going to be wanting to bounce back. But under the roof, Marvel, if we can get Zak Jones back, I'll feel a little bit better about the lineup. And we're due. We're due a very big performance, aren't we? When you think about it, it's been about 6-7 weeks since we've played our best football. This would be the perfect time to put it on Saturday night under the roof against a top 4 fancy like the Dees. That would be awesome. So make sure you subscribe. Let's get to 7K, and I'll be giving away this signed Rui portrait. So if you're watching this and you haven't subscribed, please do. That'd be amazing. And also, quick plug, Saints TV Plus. Andrew Bassett, president video is on there. Full 50-minute interview. Thanks to everyone who signed up to Saints TV Plus, whether it's monthly or yearly. All that just goes back into the channel and help me kind of create a bigger and better channel, whether it's getting more interviews or paying for new equipment or whatever it might be. It's all going to go back into supporting the channel and supporting the football club. So thank you very much for your support in any way that you can. So I'll leave it there, Sainers. Thank you again for watching. Enjoy the rest of your week. Take care. And as always, go you mighty Sainers. See you guys.